I have started recording this webinar. So first of all, welcome to this webinar session. This webinar session is ProQuest Dissertation and Thesis Global. So we are going to look at the uncovered, the undiscovered research. That means we have probably, if you don't have access to this dissertation and thesis, that particular findings or those discovery wouldn't have been discovered. So that is why we call this as an uncover the undiscovered research session. So what we're going to see specifically is to see how ProQuest Dissertation and Thesis Global is going to support you throughout your research. Yeah. So there are, whenever we talk about research, there is a lots of question comes to your mind. Defining topic, getting the research question, how to start with, what methodology to apply. So many questions come to a person's mind whenever we talk about final year project paper at undergraduate level, or even for postgraduate students, you're doing your master's, or if you're doing your PhD. So this will be a very, very common question come to in your mind. Yeah. So to address some of those challenges, to support that, we have ProQuest Dissertation and Thesis. So before I move on, I also would like to know, so how many of you all here already have used ProQuest Dissertation and Thesis in the past? If you have used, you just say yes in the chat box. If you haven't, you say no in the chat box. Okay, I have received some of the response from y'all. That's most of you here said no, but don't worry. The reason I'm asking is if you say no, then I will go on more advanced level. I mean, if you say no, then I will go on from the basic level. But if most of you are familiar, then I just pick and choose the part that I want to share with you. But it's okay. I see a lot. I think it's a combination of existing users, or some of you might be expert in using dissertation. Not to worry. If you are an expert, if you are experienced person, please feel free to share your feedbacks, also your views or your thoughts in the session. Yeah. Okay. So without further ado, let's begin. Very quickly, I would like to introduce myself. So my name is Kurinji Malar. I'm the right now my designation is Customer Education Trainer for Southeast Asia. Been with ProQuest, is now currently part of Clarivate for almost 3.5 years. And of course, I'm based in Malaysia. But I have been although I'm in 3.5 years with ProQuest, but I have been in this information service industry for almost 15 years, have worked very closely with many of the academic institutions across Southeast Asia. So one of my long-term aspiration is to contribute and to be impactful in the development of higher education. Therefore, sharing any knowledge or any information with regards to research, or if that supports the higher education system, is something very, very close to my heart. Okay, so if you notice, in all my webinar sessions or training session, I always talk about this quote from Simon Sinek, that because when we talk about research has to be something that is close to you, close to your heart, something you are passionate about, something that you want to work every day, look forward to work for it. Because when we work hard for something that we love, is called passion. Otherwise, it becomes a stress. So that is why I always use this quote to share or start my webinar session. Yeah. So in today's session, we have scheduled this session for 1.5 hours. So in this 1.5 hours, we have 4 objectives to achieve. Yeah? So number 1 is to discover the content. If you do not know what is ProQuest Dissertation and Thesis, if you don't know what content do I have, what coverage do I have, then it is not easy for you to apply the information into your research. So we need to know what we have. What is it all about? How is it going to help me? Number 2, I found this information. How can I retrieve it effectively? Third one, how am I going to apply this information in my research? Right? How do I make connections of this research using some of the tools like the network connection, the network citation networks, or citation connections, and so on. Thirdly, I found all my articles that I want. Before I even read and synthesize it, I want to quickly organize them in organize the information systematically, either in my citation management system or the reference management system, and also use some of the tools like the alert and the RSS feed to keep yourself updated. Because as you know, research, it is not going to happen within 1 day, 2 days, 3 days, and so on. It may take up to 3 months to 6 months to years and so on. So you want to stay updated. What new, is there new information about my research? Either in the dissertation and thesis development or from a broader concept from scholarly journals also and so on. So for every of those, you need to keep yourself updated. Okay, so for objective, know your content, select the right way to search information or the effective way to search information, to see how this information going to be applied in your research, and finally organize this information. Yeah, so that is what we're going to see in next 1 hour or so. Okay, so let's move on. Discover your content coverage. Just to give you a brief introduction, ProQuest started disseminating the content dissertation and thesis. Yeah, dissertation and thesis is actual graduate work done by users across the world. And how ProQuest has started disseminated is from 1939. Okay, some of this important one that I would like to share is, usually when we talk about ProQuest, everybody will have them in mind, oh, there's more of US content, but no. But since 2000 onwards, they have expanded to global coverage. Yeah, ProQuest dissertation and thesis has expanded to global coverage, including Asia, and now currently in Southeast Asia. We're expanding in Southeast Asia as well. So this is one of the important. Of course, there are more developments after this. Later on, I will take you through what are those developments. Okay, and the ProQuest dissertation and thesis as holistically has 3 main functions. Number 1 is to amplify. One is to amplify the information. The other one is accelerate. So today our session, the whole 1.5 hour session is on, we are going to talk accelerate your discovery. Yeah, we are going to talk about how we can use this content to discover information and apply it in our research. But ProQuest dissertation and thesis also has another function where, when you already completed your postgraduate studies, your master's thesis or your master's thesis or your doctoral dissertation, so that can be also amplified through the ProQuest dissertation and thesis, so that your information or your research is now available to wider research community or research institutions that they want to see what is happening on this particular topic that's coming from Malaysia, from UMT and so on. So whenever you post it in your content into the dissertation and thesis, you are amplifying your research to the dissertation and ProQuest dissertation and thesis. After that, after you have amplified your research, you will ProQuest dissertation and thesis ETD dashboard allows you to analyze who in the world, across the world, who's using my dissertation, how frequently has my paper has been accessed, which institution in the world are the top universities accessing to my my dissertation and thesis and so on, can be analyzed. So this is the holistic function of ProQuest dissertation and thesis. But today our focus is on accelerate ProQuest dissertation and thesis to support your research journey. Okay, so that is what we're going to see today. Okay, now we know that some of our research topics are always driven by global challenges. Sometimes it's also to comply to or to support the United Nations sustainability development goals and so on. So we always have some kind of driven challenges or driven goals to start our research. But as you know, these issues, they are transcend national boundaries. You cannot be just resolved by just one country alone, or just proposal by one country cannot be resolved, but it has to be a collective information. So how do you find those information? Is through this dissertation and thesis, because you have access to wider collections of information from institutions across the world. The other reason is also, if you realize, most of the dissertation, if it is not through this platform, you are not able to discover what research has been done in Europe, what research has been done on this particular topic, say for example, infectious disease in Europe, what discovery has been done, what is the direction like. You will not be able to see from the very early stage of the research, that is dissertation and thesis. So only 25% they has taken up and moved into the future scholarship, but the rest of the 75%, it's been untapped. So today, having access to this platform, this content here with 5 million records, you are exposed to uncover the undiscovered information. Okay, so that is what we're going to see. What do you find in this platform? 5 million records of dissertation and thesis, which includes abstract as well as full text. But you have 3 million, completely more than 3 million in full text that supports your research to have access to the full information. Where this information, where is this dissertation and thesis come from? It is represented by 60 countries, 60 countries, more than 60 countries has represented the content. Like I said, it's including Asia, Southeast Asia, now growing. And for more than 4,000 universities have provided the content. But what is important here is it evolves every year. New content is being added every year, yeah? Okay, why is it so important, and why is it essential for all students to have access to the ProQuest dissertation and thesis, especially if you are doing your undergraduate project papers, dissertation thesis, your postgraduate dissertation and thesis? This is one of the important platforms that you want to have access to, because it actually opens the users or the students to a world of cutting edge research. Yeah. So apart from that, you are exposed to more than 5 million works with 3 million in full text, more than 3 million in full text. What it means to you. So you are now, if you have challenges in identifying some topic, you have an idea, you have a broad, you are requested to write a thesis or dissertation, you have an idea, but you do not know how to start with. You have so much, you have a very broad information, but you do not know where to start from. So here in this platform, it gives you in-depth scholarly examples. What we want is, we want to start something. If we have some examples, it is much more easier for us, because it's left as some guide. Oh, okay, this is how they have justified the reason for starting the dissertation. Oh, this is the methodology they have used to apply. So maybe it may not apply in my region. Maybe I can look at alternative methodology. So you are exposed to examples of information, so that this will make your understanding, or you have broader understanding about what you want to do in your region, or in your institution, or within your topic. Yeah, so it's actually a very good scholarly example and guide for research topics. Okay. Now, why is another reason for it is because it's coming from so many countries, and it's a cutting edge. Is sometimes we have very recent research has been also available here. So it covers some of the unique topic, emerging research, so that it can fuel scholars with the new insight. Yeah. So that is why it's important to have access to this information, especially for those who want to begin your research with, or you already started your research, you want to zoom into certain part of the content, like methodology, how this methodology has been, the whole research has been carried out, and so on. And very importantly, because every of this research, there will be also some recommendations. Yeah? Every time they do a research, there will be the delimitation, the scope of it, and the limitation. So why is limited? Why is this research has limitations? What are the limitations? So if these are, they already identify the limitation, and they will they do a recommendation. Okay, see, these are the future recommendations. So if you want to take this research further, these are recommendations. These are the gaps that you need to identify. Already spoken in in the dissertation. So if you look at it, it's something similar to you and you see there is a research gap, you want to take that on for your own research in our region, in Asia, in Southeast Asia, in state level as well in Terengganu, or even in Malaysia, you can look at it from that perspective. This just, it gives you an idea. And on top of that, dissertation and thesis, if you just read the dissertation and thesis, if you're searching it from openly from open web or through the Google, you may not be able to find specific information because they may not be indexed as robust as this ProQuest. So the moment it is go through the process, editorial process with ProQuest, a lots of robust indexing has been done. So when you have the indexing, it is definitely easy to discover the information. Okay, so now we know why is it important for any users to quickly have access to this platform or this content in this platform. Okay. So for you, you may come from a different, your interest of research or the topic that you want to learn, come from a diverse topic, can be across multidisciplines. Yeah. So if you see in my screen, actually the dissertation and thesis support most of the disciplines, including business to communication to architecture to social sciences to agriculture to biological science, environmental science, engineering, science to health and medical sciences, and etc. So it is kind of multidisciplinary. So if your research interest is to do on economics, or if your research interest is to do on fisheries, or if you want to do research on marine biology, any research topic, you will be able to find it from here. When you see this screen, this shows that these are some of the topics has been discussed or is available to this platform. So if you're interested in your education, there's a lot of discussion of education, public health, energy, communication, alternative energy, a lot more. Yeah, so many others, plant sciences, and hydrologic sciences, which might be your interest as well. So you can definitely you will find some interesting information from here. This is just a quick one to got a topic. So if you talk about cancer culture, there are some topic here. Cryptocurrency, you have even K-pop, you have gender identity, nurse morale, many other topics. Just to show you some example. Okay, this is the coverage. So from of course, US. This where most of the new emerging topics can be found as well. Yeah, in US, UK, and of course Asia, China, India, and Hong Kong, Europe, Middle East, and South Africa. And like I said, it has been expanding in Southeast Asia. So in Malaysia, we have a couple of institutions who has been contributing to that content. In Indonesia, is expanding. Singapore is already content to the National University of Singapore is available to this platform, and now also expanding to Philippines. Yes, that is about what you have in this collection. If you have any question, just feel free to ask me the question. Although I conduct this whole session in English, but if you want to ask question in Bahasa Malaysia, please feel free to do so. Just ajukan je kat dalam chat box. I definitely will monitor the chat box. Yeah. So now I'm just pausing for a few seconds to see whether if you have any question. If you want to speak, your speaker is one way, it's set one way. I can unmute your speaker. If you just say yes in the chat box you want to speak, I will unmute your speaker. Okay, so now I just pause for 1 second to see if you have any questions so far. Okay, I don't see any question. I'm going to move on. So we're going to focus on accelerate your research journey. Okay. So I'm going to take you through a few minutes on the slide. Then we. Okay, here you go. Our best practices for searching information. So for those who are memang dah biasa with ProQuest platform, you know that ProQuest platform all across, whether it's you're using subject-based or you're using dissertation and thesis, the search techniques is actually same across the whole platform. So memang you have to apply the Boolean operators. Yeah, you have to use Boolean operators. This most databases, they use Boolean operators. You use a phrase searching with quotation mark. You can narrow your filter to see, okay, I want to look at the current trend, so I want to narrow my publication year to last 5 years. You can do narrow filters. Word variances, that means if I type in singular noun, can the system recognize the plural noun? Okay, so we know that ProQuest platform recognize all that automatically. Then the lookup list. Sometimes lookup list is very interesting because sometimes we do not know the full name of that university. You just put partially, the lookup list will find for you. So this is very interesting as well. Limiting the search fields, truncation to expand your key terms, your vocabularies. The proximity operators. Sometimes we want the two terms to be in the closer proximity. We can use the proximity operator. These are all techniques. But don't worry about these techniques, because all these techniques I have, if you go to this, I won't go through this because I think most of you are already familiar. Unless if you have question, I will go back to the search technique. Yeah. So I'm going to take you to this part here. So if you see in my screen, if you go to this, I'm going to share in the chat box. Yeah, this is the site. This is the LibGuide. So in this LibGuide, if you go to this LibGuide, there is a first page itself. If you scroll down, it shares the basic search, how to conduct a basic search. This is available in the e-learning tutorial. So if you go to basic search, if you click on it, it will take you to an e-learning tutorial. There is a search strategy tips here, also e-learning tutorial. Publication search also has e-learning tutorials. Advanced search, then how to use thesaurus, and the search, working with the search result. So I won't be going through every of this because we already have the e-tutorial for you to go through that, but I will show some examples in the live demo later. So just take note of that. And if you click on this e-tutorial, so this is how it looks like. It take you basic search, how to do advanced search, what are the tips and the techniques that I need to apply, all that will be covered. Okay. So I'm going to pause here again because that is all about searching. I will show more information, more examples in the demo later. I just want to see if you have any questions so far. Move on. So one of the most important thing that you want to use the dissertation and thesis is to identify and define research. So we need to know how we can use this platform to identify and define research topic. So with efficient discovery and the research collection you have in that will allow you to explore the literature from a broad subject area. So if you have a very broad subject area, then you can zoom into the topics that is being discussed and you turn them into a research problem for in your context. Yeah. Then we will look at how to do that is by examining and evaluating the findings from the existing research. Okay, so this is what we're going to see. So how do I first discover the information? So because I have, for example, I have my discussion on education technology, which is a very broad topic. So I will see whether can I find information or any discussion about education technology in the platform. So this is what you do. So you get exposed to so many results. Of course, you can refine to look at it from current perspective, last 5 years, last 3 years, or the trend of it, or you want to look at historical perspective. All that can be done in this platform very easily because they have been indexed, so easy to discover the collection. And Not only that, you're able to see the subject base. Okay, so when talking about educational technology, is it based on curriculum, or is it on the psychology, or is it information technology, and the index term. So what is the difference? So subject is more broader category. Index term is the term or the keyword that has been given by the authors in themselves. So whenever the authors submit the dissertation and thesis to ProQuest, they have to submit additional 5 to 6 key terms that is relevant to their research for the discovery purposes. So that means this will be very, very much relevant to the research. Like if they're talking about technology or online learning or higher education, their discussion is along that way, along that subject or that particular key term. Okay. Another way, how do I discover the collection with latest information is, to run your search by NOFT. NOFT means not in full text, but they will be available in the title, in the subject, in the abstract. Wherever there is an indexing, it will appear in that. So sometimes this can be used alternatively if you don't want to just use abstract, but you want broader coverage, not full text, yeah, non-full text, not at full text. Okay, so this is machine learning. But of course, you want to see last 10 years of the trend of what is being discussed. So you can use this platform to do a quick search. That to explore from universities, like the top universities, I say, okay, my research is on microbiology, but I want to see if any institutions, the specific institution like Cornell institutions research. Yeah, you want to look at it, so you can do so. Okay. Now I want to go into the platform itself before we talk about evaluating the information, identifying the information, examining the information. So whenever you are in this platform, if you have discovered the topic, all that you need to identify, examine is the title itself. Look at the title, look at how the title has been done, and see that title is going to be relevant to you. And most importantly, to look at the abstract itself. Very important to learn how to skim through the abstract. Yeah, in the abstract is where it will explain to you what's the objective of this research. They justify why I have done this research to close the research gap, and the information in the findings, the methodology they have applied, the findings, the results, and also the last part of it, with the findings, they will have the future recommendation, limitation, and all. If it doesn't describe here with the future recommendation, not to worry. You just, as long as you know this is relevant, you already read the abstract, zoom to the table of content. Look at the table of content. Always look up for the recommendation for future research. Apart from that, of course, you want to see the chapter 1, the methodology that has used, and so on. So this is how you make use of this article as an example. Why you need to do so? Because you are able to improve and fill the gaps in research studies. What has been conducted, there was a limitation. So now you can learn what was the limitation in the past, and how do I address it in my new my future research that I want to take it on. So maybe you can look at it from the perspective of the theoretical framework, or the population samples may be too small, too geographical centric, whatever that maybe is limitation. But you can say, now I want to do it from a broader perspective, or I look at population from a different geographical states, or in Asia, or in Southeast Asia, or something like that. Okay, so build on a pure from the prior research. So research is about building on from the prior research. We know this research already done, but there was a gap. So now I'm taking on this to next level, right? Then in my research, maybe in future, there will be some gaps as well. Then that can be taken on. So research is built on prior research. So that is why it's very important for us to examine the information in every chapters, every information, so that we can take it on to the next level. Okay, I'm going to go with talk about this information later in the demo. I'm just waiting to see if you have any questions so far. I'm going to move on. Wait, yeah, hold on. How do you access to your dissertation and thesis from your institution? So usually it is at your resources. Hold on, I was looking at it just now. Hold on a second, yeah. Okay, so it's usually at your resources, e-resources. If you go into your e-resources, okay, either it's in social sciences or science technology, you should be able to find the ProQuest dissertation and thesis just right below here. Yeah, here, ProQuest dissertation and thesis. And you know how to access it from off campus or within your campus. You just follow the instruction, yeah, using your institution's access and enter your credentials, and you should be able to access to ProQuest dissertation and thesis global. Okay, so let me now enter the information. So once you have entered your credentials, click on ProQuest dissertation and thesis, enter the relevant credentials, you will see that you have access to your institution's label here, University Malaysia Terengganu, UMT is here. And if you don't see exactly like what you see here, it's okay. But of course, you will see basic search, advanced searches, content such as scholarly journals, and so on. That is because you also have access to, if you click on, hold on, if I'm too fast, you click on change database. Okay. There you have access to your ASFA abstracts, yeah, aquatic sciences and fishery abstract, then the coronavirus research database, which is complementary. Then you have the ProQuest dissertation and thesis global. Along with it, you have publicly available content database. So what you have in publicly available content database is those what do you call it, this the information such as scholarly journals or conference papers or working papers, those are available in open access. It is now highly well indexed in ProQuest and can be discovered through the ProQuest platform. So this is what the publicly available content. But today we will focus on to go to ProQuest dissertation and thesis. Okay, I'm not sure there is actually a request to send the site. I'm going to send this site to you all. But you need to have access, your library access, yeah, your credentials to access this content. Okay, I just shared that. Okay, now once you have entered the information through this if either is social science or the science and technology, all that you look for is this. Access it and enter your credentials, and you will come to this page. This page, you remember at this page, if you don't see ProQuest dissertation and thesis, go to change database, select ProQuest dissertation and thesis, or just click here, just click like this, and you should be able to access to ProQuest dissertation and thesis. Okay. Now, of course, we already seen the coverage of this collection. Now, how do we start our research? So because it allows you to do a basic search, it allows you to do advanced searches, and also if you want to change the database either from here or here, yeah. So if you don't, along the way, if you don't see the basic search or advanced search here, it's all here at the 3 lines, yeah, at the 3 lines that when you click on it, you should be able to access to all that these what they call this search forms, yeah, search forms. Okay, now let me give some example. Okay, so I'm just giving you this as an example. Let's say if you are interested, if you're coming from, you want to do some studies on management, yeah, so some of you are interested in doing management related studies. What you want to find out is you want to find out about green human resources. So this is one of the research, UMT's research also on green human resources. You want to find, is there any collections of information that I can find in as dissertation and thesis? So to run, so you can use the basic search. Just have the main topic, the broad subject, and see, can I find information on green human resources? So either his human resource or resources, the system will automatically recognize. But how it reads is green and human and resources. So if you want this as a phrase, you can also say, only show me green human resources. Okay. But my recommendation, if you are exploring information, don't put a quotation mark yet, because you are saying, okay, I want to search on green human resources. I want to see if in this dissertation I can find information. You can see that actually have a few, because it's relevance, right? You can see the first 10 or 15 or 20 research is actually talking about green resources, but this is green resources, maybe they're referring to others, but you already know that you are able to see some information here. So with that, you can move on and say, okay, I think this is the right database for me to consult further. So next I do is I go to modify my search. I want to go into advanced search. Why advanced search is very important for all of you? Because the index, you already indexed it very well. So easy for you to find information. Whereas the basic search means it will search across the whole entire dissertation. Wherever there is a term green, human, resources, so it will find for it. So it may give you a lot of results, sometimes may not be relevant to you. So to get more precise, more relevant, more targeted results, I would always recommend you to use advanced search. So at advanced search, there are some fields that you can use it often. Okay, remember, anywhere except full text. So NOFT is, it will search, let's say if I put in something like this, green human resources, just example only, search it like this, I will get lesser result as compared to before. Okay, much lesser result, but they are definitely talking about green human resources, either in the title or in the abstract or in any of the index. So that will give you more lesser result, but more precise, more relevant information. So this is one example. Okay, so you know how to use some of the search fields. So this search fields here is abstract. So if I use this, that means the green human resources term will be searched at the abstract level of every dissertation. The same thing goes for document title. If I want the green human resources to appear in the title only, then I can use just title only. So this is very specific. If you have your terms or the research that you're doing is very generic, then you can use title. But otherwise, I always recommend you to use either you use NOFT or you use both abstract as well as title and so on. And you can also zoom to information such as I want to look at a specific institution, like just now we looked at Cornell. We can also say I want to look at some institution in Europe, or some institution in UK, some like Cambridge or Oxford, or I want to look at green human resources research in Harvard. You can always look up for a specific schools or you can also go by location, because these are already indexed already. So now let's assume, remember, we don't have any idea. Let's say my research is on, I want to do research on aquatic sciences. I want to see, is there any research that is relevant to aquatic sciences? At this time, because I know aquatic science are very broad subject, yeah, subject-based topic. So you can use the subject, all subjects and indexing. Why all subjects and indexing? Because subjects is one. Indexing is, remember, the indexing term by the user themselves. So if their research is including aquatic sciences, it will be also will be surfaced to you. Now you can also confine it for dates, or even to say, okay, I want to look at doctoral only. My advice is to don't select any, because you want to see overall. Just leave it as it is and you just start. Okay, now when you're here, you will see that aquatic science subject has got so many results, 14,000 results. And if you want to know why is this really talking about aquatic science, you know, this is, you want to see aquatic vegetation, species, and so on. Yes, it is, but you want to see what is it all about. But these are all about, this is plant sciences, but they definitely are talking about aquatic here. So that is why you have that is coming up on your research, on your results. So if you click this, okay, to confirm whether these are the results is relevant to you, just click on quick look here and look at the discussion. Yes, this still talking about aquatic plants, behavioral science, animal sciences. It's all talking about aquatic related and so on. So if you want to be very specific, if you want just one aquatic science specifically, you can put quotation mark if you want to. So, but sometimes you want to see, okay, talking about aquatic sciences, also talking about the fish production, aquaculture. So what is whole discussion about this dissertation? Okay, so you already know what is it all about. So that's how you will evaluate to see whether it's relevant to you. Now, the next thing that you want to see is, yes, this somehow it's aquatic sciences. If you don't want to go for aquatic sciences, if you want to go very specifically to coral reefs, search on coral reefs, yeah. Do so. You see, because it's very specific, you will see very lesser results compared to earlier. So if you want to see, so this is still talking about coral reef, yeah, coral biology, but they are under the biological oceanography. So you can do so this way, or because coral reefs are already a topic, right? You don't want to be in the subject, what you can do is you just clear this and say, okay, as long as it is all about coral reefs, let it appear in the title, in the abstract, in any of the subjects indexing. Okay, so now let's see if we can find these more results. So you find slightly more results, but they are talking about coral reefs. They're talking about all this. In the discussion of title, in the abstract, as well as, it's basically, you can see it's very, very relevant to you. It's talking about coral reefs all the way. So now that is another way how you can identify. So likewise, you can go and search for information such as oceanography, or you can look at sustainability from a very broad perspective, then corporate governance, or if you want to be very specific, so like say if you want to look at some research that has been done by your professors, your advisors, and they want you to have continuity on that research. So that let's say that research is on the impact of garlic, yeah. So impact of garlic, the food garlic, or you use the scientific name of it. And if you want that to appear in the NOFT, and what you want to see is the relevancy to immunity or the infection related. Very specific, okay. So what, garlic or Allium sativum, right? I don't know how to spell this, but it is the scientific name of this garlic. So it's either garlic or the scientific name of it. You can use or. This is your Boolean operator where you want to appear anywhere, not in full text. And you want the discussion of immunology, immunization, and so on, and also infection, infectious, and so on. So I have used the asterisk so I can have the expansion of it. Immunization, immunology, and so on. Infection, infectious, and so on. Yeah. So what you do is again say yes. All this should appear in the NOFT. Okay, now it's easier. Okay, now you see you have a lot more specific results. 76 information. That is definitely talking about the herbs, the comestible herbs that is, we're talking about the garlic or the scientific name of it. You can see like that. So this very specific because you are looking for unique specific information. So this is what you do. So it can help you to go looking at it from a broader perspective, getting idea of the topic, or it can be taking you to a niche research such as what is being done. So you have very good use. You can use this platform for many purposes. Yeah. Okay. Now I want to show you another example. Okay. Then let's say some of this research is relevant to customer inspection. What you want to see is the customer satisfaction in the hospitality or the tourism industry, very specific also. So you can also do the same, yeah, customer satisfaction. The term is all about hospitality. You want to look at tourism, hospitality, or tourism. So how do I do this? You can break it down. You don't have to do it in one line, right? You need to apply and I can do it this way. Do it this way, and I can do it this way. So what it means is I want customer satisfaction and talking about hospitality industry or tourism industry where I want it at the NOFT as well. But if you don't want, if you say as long as there's a discussion in the abstract is good, you can also use abstract summary, all abstract summary, yeah. Or you can say either in the summary or in the title, okay, the title. This will give you more specific results. So it will look either the importance of customer satisfactions in tourism and hospitality industry. There also discussion in the abstract. There is also discussion in abstract. This talking. It's another way. If you don't want to put all together, you can do it, break it down and say, only show me if there's a discussion in the abstract or if there's a discussion in the title. You are being more specific. Okay. So now I believe you know how to apply the techniques, the search techniques using some of the search fields here. Do you have any questions so far? Okay, there's no question. Okay, I'm going to clear the form and I'm going to show you how you can use the lookup index. Remember the lookup index? So in lookup index, why it is the advantage of the lookup index is if you know the author's name, like, you know, start with John or some other names, you just put in the name of John and it will give you example of a list of John listed. So you can pick and choose which one that you want to. Same goes for advisors. But the more popular one is these three, lookup for universities or institution, subjects or index terms and so on. So let's say if you want to evaluate some specific universities, so in our case, I want to use Oxford, but you may be benchmarking with some other institutions in China, or if you are looking at or some. Today I'm going to look up for Oxford. But there are many others, including Oxford Brookes and so on. So, but what we want is University of Oxford. If you want to include the rest, you can. But then I said I also want to look at it. Search. So what we are doing now is we are searching for research done by these two institutions. What we want to see is we want to see from the subject, okay, what subjects they do work on. So if it's biochemistry, if you're interested in biochemistry from this institution, then you go for biochemistry. Or if you are interested in some other topics like genetics, or if you're looking at some immunology related studies, computer science related studies, or if something that is relevant to you, that you want to explore from these two institutions, then you can select it. So let's say if I'm interested in looking at, hold on. So if you want this in alphabetical order, click here, yeah, click here, and then it will be ordered in the alphabetical order. So I want to look at cellular biology, for example. So just select it. And of course, you can explore it. So for Cambridge, what happens is if you see this kind of get a full text, that means this will be linked outside ProQuest, linked to their internal repository. So you can go directly to the internal repository to access to that particular content. So where is this collection from? We know that we already specified specific to Cambridge as well as Oxford. So if you want to see Cambridge itself, also the same, it has been linked to their internal repository. So you can go directly to their internal repository to download the content. Okay, so let it download. Okay, now I want to change this, modify, say, okay, within this collection, I want to look at any subjects that is relevant to Internet of Things, for example. So now what we want is we want a specific subject on Internet of Things that is relevant to University of Oxford. Maybe I should have used some other terms, but I just wanted to see this. Or maybe Internet of Things is not under the subject. You may want to change and say that is a term because it may not be a broader term. If you see there's something else, just in a it's the index is slightly different, yeah, with the words and the small letters. Okay, so now what we want to see if there's anything to do with, maybe there is too much information. I don't want to confine to this particular institution, but I want to see which institution is important, which institution is leading of providing this research. Okay, so you have 882 access. You can look at which institution is important. So Institute of California, Utica University, University of Washington. So if you're interested in some of specific institution, just go into that institution and look. So when you are evaluating the information, some of these records, the thesis, they already enrich the information, like you have 93 references. So if you don't find any relevant dissertation or relevant scholarly journals, you may want to explore it and say, okay, this particular research is relevant to me. I want to see the original research references, what reference has been used. So you click on it and look at the references. So if you see the references are not hyperlinked, that means you need to take the citation and go to an alternative, go to your broader library. In your library catalog, search for the title, you search for it. If it is already hyperlinked, like this one has been hyperlinked, you can access it through this platform. So what you see in my screen may not be the same because what has been linked into your institution, your subscription might be slightly different, yeah? So take note of that. Okay, now I'm coming back to, now I have done so many searches in last 1 hour or so, right? So many searches. So if I want to go back to my searches that I have done in the past, I can always go to these recent searches, just click on recent searches, and all my searches that I have done in the past, it is all listed here. It is all listed here. So for example, let's say I want to rerun my search on customer satisfaction in the hospitality or tourism industry. So just click on it, you can rerun it. But remember, this is same as the ProQuest standard platform. This recent research, why we call this recent research, is only the current session's results will be saved. The one you done in the previous, once you close the browser or you already logged out, your information will not be here yet. It will not be saved. Yeah. So to do so, you can always come to this platform before you sign off or before you leave this page. You can always save this information. Just click on save. To save this information, you need to have the account, the research account folder created. Yeah. I will talk about research folder later. But what I want to do is I want to go zoom into these individual titles to look at how can I apply it in my research. So of course, the first one, if you think is interesting, but it's the old one. But what you want to look at is the current one. Yeah, this is still new, 2019. So if you want to see the latest, we do have up to, all right. So let's say the most recent one. Okay, so this is 2021. Maybe you want to explore this, or even this is also interesting. But before I go further, just click on this. Yeah? Just click on it. Oh, no, wait, hold on. Just have a quick look from here, see if it's relevant to you, and then you go into looking at the full documents. So when you are looking at the full documents, this is from Walden University. Scroll down. You already read the abstract. So what you want to look at is most of the time you will look at the table of content, foundational of these studies, why the study is conducted, the problem statement, the purpose, everything you will review it, the project, the whole design of the projects, yeah? Research method that you're going to apply, which research method and design, the population and sampling, then goes all the way down to this part, the application of and the implication for the change or the implication of the research. Of course, you will have the recommendation for action, recommendation for futures. This is where you should look at it more specifically. So now let's assume this is something very relevant to you, but let's assume that's the only thing that you get. You haven't got your sources to start with, to study about the concept. You haven't get any scholarly journals that relevant to you, that with relevant to your training strategies in the hospitality industry. For example, you haven't got. So how do I now capitalize this particular research that I found here? Use the references. So whenever you see the references, all the references in index, so just click on the references here. So you know they have used this particular journal or digest, yeah, a unified model of organization effectiveness. They have used these particular journals and so on. So as you scroll down, if it is not, like I say, if it is not linked, if it's not hyperlinked, take the citation, search in your broader library catalog or in any other databases that is relevant to your topic, yeah, databases that's relevant to your topic. But if it is hyperlinked, you basically just click on it, it will then take you to the topic. So this is interesting because this particular article Also been cited 4 times on ProQuest. So it's very interesting. This has cited 300 times in ProQuest. So you definitely must look up for this information. There is some, this is considered as a seminal paper. It's been highly cited in ProQuest and so on. So look out for those kind of information. This particular journal also must have access or must read, because you have 26 times been cited. So it gives you an idea to look up for your sources, yeah, shortcut to your sources that you want to read, because you didn't find any other information and so on. Okay, now I just want to go one step back. Okay, so this is how you zoom in to this dissertation and thesis, find more sources, more information to support your research is to your references. Okay, now I want to go into some other topics. Let's say we go back to the recent searches, and this time you want to talk more about let's say go to aquatic sciences. Yeah, so just go to the aquatic sciences. Okay, now when we talk about aquatic sciences, you can see up front there's references here. If you don't have references, then it may not be indexed yet. So eventually you will have the index. But if you see the references, it is all there, right? Okay, now I want to see the connections between the research. To get all the complete connection, you have to select citation connection. So when you click on citation connection, you will get lesser result, but you know those has been connected. Those already have the references and has all the details of that research. Yeah. So let's say, how do I use this connected information? If it has been cited in it has been cited in ProQuest, you will see it is cited, who has cited that information here. But we already explored the references. What we want to see is this foundational research. Okay, foundational research is another way to expand your sources, right? You don't have enough materials to consult with. Now this will give you an idea. Okay, if you are looking at this topic about mapping, monitoring, modeling submerged aquatic vegetation species, yeah, this is something, is old one, but somehow you see that there's an example of foundational research. So what is foundational research? Foundational research is a record in the neighborhood or in the research area where it has cited at least 5 of the documents from the seed document. If it has referred 5 or cited 5 references from here in this article, that means it will appear here, at least 5, maybe more, but at least 5. And on top of that, you can see these articles is suggested to be read. That's because this particular article itself, although it's like an older article, or how long is this? Older articles, or maybe new, but it's been cited many times, so many times. So if it's cited, that shows you it's an influential article. It is a seminal paper for you to have references. Again, if it's hyperlinked in your link in your institution, you should have access to it. If it is not, take the citation to find for the literature elsewhere. Okay, this one way how you can use. Number 2 is the similar dissertation. So what you can find here is your scholarly journals, your conference papers, working papers, news information, magazines or trade journals. This will come under the foundational research if they have applied at least 5 of the references here. So it will come under the foundational research. But if you want to look up for a similar dissertation, if you want to get any other dissertation, you scroll down and this will give you an idea. Okay, if you are looking for similar dissertation with this, here you go. This is one that you want to explore because it has got similarity, 15% similarity index. Also same concept. They definitely have applied 5 of the references from the seed document here. There you have others as well. So just explore and say, this is give you an idea to expand your searches. On top of that, these are all documents with shared references. So as long as they have used references in this article, then you get access to that as well. So you just click on it and you can explore it accordingly. So what happens here is with the dissertation and thesis, you are not only finding information from one article, but it will now expand you to connect with other articles, research that is relevant to your research instead of you going search by key terms. Sometimes you miss it by key terms if you don't use the right key term, or if you miss the exact term like the technical terms or the medical terms or the scientific terms, then you may not find it. But with all these connections here, with the citation connection, you will be able to discover more content comparatively to just find one article and start with it. Yeah, so this is very, very important and helpful for all the users. Okay. Now, what I want to do is I just want to share with you from here, how do I export my information? Very easy. So most of it, if it is available in the full text, you will have it in PDF. Yeah, you have it in PDF. So how do I access it? You just click download here. You can download it here. You can also go to the three dots, download from here. You can cite it immediately with all the different citations that is listed here. If the citation that you want is not here, don't worry. All that you do is you export it over to your own citation. If you're using EndNote, you use EndNote to export it. If you use RefWorks, use RefWorks. But if most of you use Mendeley or Citavi or Zotero, use the RIS file. Yeah. So another way to do that is to here, you can export it accordingly. Very simple. If you want a full text, if you want the bibliography information and the full text, you download first to a PDF, then you export it. If not, you can also download just the RIS file, just the bibliography information. Just click on this. Yeah, just continue. Okay, then you get the RIS file. Then you export it over to your RefWorks, your EndNote, your Mendeley to other platforms as well, whichever citation management that you use. So if you export it such a way, you will only get bibliography information. But if you export with the download PDF, you get both. Okay, so that is one thing that you remember. Other than that, you can export your Google Drive and many other ways to export it. It's very easy, very straightforward. Okay. Now, the last part, how can I manage this information to keep myself updated? So remember that we talked about saving the information, to add the information to the alert, to create an alert and so on. Wait, yeah, hold on. Let me open up my screen. Okay, meanwhile, if you have any question, just feel free to post in the chat panel, yeah. I'm just accessing to my. Any question, just feel free to put it in the chat panel. Give me 1 minute. All right. Okay. I'm going to use my ID to show you how to use the folder because I cannot log into your this is the same platform that you saw earlier. This time we want to do research on still on a management, on corporate governance, for example, or sustainability. I think sounds better. Sustainability. So sustainability can be from different supply chain management sustainability or any sustainability, but we can use it from a very broad subject and see all the sustainability related results. Yeah, this is urban sustainability. Now I want to see why is sustainability because it is here. Urban sustainability. So let's say I'm interested in last 10 years of information. You just confine here. Okay. And you want to look at specifically on certain university. So I want to only look at institutions, Walden University's research. Okay, so this is what you do. So how do I save? I already confined. Now I want to save my searches that I have done. So just go to your save search here. Just save it over and say, if you want to save, you need to log in first. Where do you want to save? Yeah. So it will take me to the login to my research. If you are a first time user, make sure you create account. Just create, very easy. Put in your email, password, confirm, just accept it and just create it. So once you have created, you can sign in to the My Research folder. So for example, I already created mine in the past. So I just sign in. And this will allow me to access to the research folder. So why is the research folder important for you? You can save your searches. You can save your alerts. You can save your documents and so on. Here is the research folder. You can save documents, searches, alerts, or if you have RSS feeds, you can also monitor your RSS feeds. So just go to these documents. So documents is individual articles, individual records can be saved here as well. Searches are the whole entire pool of information you can search, you can save it here. So let's go back one step. So remember we did this search. I just want to run the search again. Let it run first. Okay, so this is the search that I have confined the search results to Walden University. So how I save it? Now I save it. I can name this as sustainability. Save this. So it's already saved. Now I want to save this document, right? I want to put it into my folder. So what? Select one, edit to my research folder. Just say, okay, the 2 articles, 2 documents, I want to save it to my research. Now, if you go to your research folder, if you go to your saved document, you should have the sustainability document saved into your folder. Okay, so this is already saved today, right? These 2 I have saved, and this one I saved on 28. All this information will be here. So you can either click on it to evaluate, you can add it to your folders, whichever folder that you want to, you can create a folder, then you can delete it, you can cite it, email it, whatever that you want to do, you can do so. Then you can also search, save your searches that you have done earlier. Why you need to save this search? Next time you can just click and run the searches. From here, if you already completed, you start writing, you are focusing on writing, you want to come back and see if there's any new development on sustainability related topics, then you just create alert. Okay, just create the alert, name the alert, just create all the way, how long do you want, how frequently you want to receive, when do you want to stop receiving it? Just set it very easy. Then it will run the search accordingly from the frequency that you have set. For example, 2 months, every 2 months. If it's every week, it's every week. It will run the subject sustainability. Any new dissertation and thesis added, it will send to your email address. Okay. But if you don't want, you can also create RSS feed. So RSS feed is you want to monitor from your browser. Is there any new documents? So you just enable the RSS feed and go to, you enable your extension, the RSS feed, and say, okay, I have, for this particular document, I have 50 new articles. So what are the articles? If I want to explore, just click on it to explore it. So the two ways you can keep yourself updated with the new development of your topic, that is through the alert as well as RSS feed. Okay. So with that, I have covered all the important points for you so that you can maximize the use of ProQuest dissertation and thesis platform to support your research, journey, whether if you are in the very beginning of your journey or if you're in the, if you want to, get some information that, that you are looking at some methodology that you want to apply. It can be any part or any stage of your research journey, you can use this platform. Okay, so we have exceeded 6 minutes, but we started late, so that's why we have exceeded. So now I would like to open this session for a Q&A session. Please feel free to ask me this question. I have always limited time with all of you, so this is the time you ask me. If the question is beyond my knowledge, I will definitely come back to you after consulting the experts. If it's something that I can help you, I can help you now in this session. Okay, that's a good question from Muhammad Ulul. That's a very good question. So this is, so to deposit or submit a dissertation, your institution's dissertation to ProQuest, it is through your institution. So the institution must be a partner with ProQuest. Say, yes, we have accepted all the terms and conditions. We want to post our information in, we want to host our information in this dissertation and thesis global. So that is where the ProQuest team will work closely with your institution, and either they use the ETD, the electronic dissertation and thesis platform, to export your information through your internal repository, or can be accessed directly through your internal repository to have access your results, your findings in this platform. So there should be an agreement between the institution. It cannot be done by individually. Hope I have answered that question. Any other question? I don't see any other question. So if you want to learn more about ProQuest dissertation and thesis, there's a site that I'm going to share with you. Maybe it's already embedded in your institution's library's platform from library portal. I'm going to share that link in the chat panel. If you go to the dissertation and thesis LibGuide, so there are e-learning modules on, ProQuest dissertation and thesis student, citation connection, for librarians, for the searching titles and languages, searching names, cited references. So everything is here. These are all e-tutorials. So you can also access to also the webinar recordings. Yeah. So if you want to learn more about it. But next, we have a session, I think next month, where I will talk more in depth about the dissertation and thesis. We call this as a boot camp. So I will share more information about how you can really make use of this collection along with the e-learning modules that has been available to ProQuest dissertation and thesis. Yeah, I will talk more about that. So look forward to see all of you for that session. Just a minute. I'm going to now share the post-webinar survey link. Just feel free to give your feedback. Just share the post-webinar link in the box. Please feel free to give your feedback. And I look forward to see you all for the next session. I think next session will be more in-depth, especially for those who are new to your research scholar. If you're new research scholar, you're new to your research, if you have a gap in your studies, right, you finish your graduate studies, you finish your undergraduate studies long ago, you want to start with masters, so there's a lot of gap in between, so you want to pick up on your research skills and so on, you can join that session on I think next month. And remember the date, but it's next month. Please look up for your library's promo. Yeah. So let me stop the recording now. Stop the recording. Yeah.